Thank you for joining us for another power-packed message provided by Munroe Global Incorporated and monroeglobal.com. We transform followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. We hope that this message is a blessing to you as you advance your life and discover your purpose. Now, let's go into the message.
Kingdom laws for the home. One day I went shopping for shoes. I tried the shoes on in the store and they fitted and I liked them. So I bought them and I went home. At home, after a few days of checking out my closet to see which clothes the shoe would match, colors and everything, I decided that I would take the shoe back to the store to exchange it for a different color. But in the meantime, the store got in a new shipment, new styles, new colors. So I asked if I could exchange the shoe for a new style, a different one. And they said, sure you can. I said, great, done deal. As mothers, we carry our babies for 9 months. Then we go to the hospital to deliver them. After a few days or a day, we take them home. The first night, no one sleeps. This goes on for about a week, months, with everyone, the parents and any other help, operating on the shift mode. All these grown-ups are taking shift to take care of one little person. Well, like the shoes, you cannot take them back to the hospital and tell the doctor that you want to exchange him or her for a different style, color, or even a new one. Maybe one that sleeps when night comes, or even one that sleeps all night, and maybe one that doesn't cry so much. When you leave that hospital, whatever package, size, color, or temperament you take home cannot be exchanged. The sign on the hospital door says, once you walk through those doors with your goods, they cannot be returned or exchanged, and monies cannot be refunded. So what do? We go home and we seek the Lord for his law on how and where to aim this arrow or arrows that he has given us. Because God has given us laws for the home, and if we as parents first obey the laws, then we would enjoy the success and benefits of a happy home. We will look quickly at a few laws today. I have quite a few of them, but I gave myself until 12:30. At 12:30, if I'm in the middle of giving it to you, I will stop. Our first law is to train. Training is guiding. Every child that comes into this world needs guidance. A child left to himself will fall to destruction or die. Guiding includes guidance of their attitudes and behavior, which aids in the forming of their character. Proverbs 22:6 says, train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Train is to guide the growth of, to guide the mental, moral, and development of, to instruct so as to make successful, to bring out the best. We must also train them in good ethics and manners. When we train our children in the home about the ways of life, when training so that when they go outside the home, that training becomes their guide, because the Holy Spirit will have something to remind them about. But parents, whatever we are teaching our children, we must let them see us doing it first. Remember, we are the train. The second law of the home is obedience. Luke 2:51 says, "Then Jesus went to Nazareth with them," his parents, "and was obedient to them." Ephesians 6:1 says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right." Colossians 3:20 says, "Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases God." When obedience is affirmed, it usually produces more obedience. When we show approval to our children, when we praise them in the little things, they always want to keep doing it so good so that we can praise them more. Mothers, our job as parents is not done or is not completed until the child has obeyed. We must see that obedience is carried out. Let me give you 3 reasons why some of us fail in administering the law of obedience. We give our children too many orders, and we must not give our children an order unless it matters enough to us that we will follow through on that order to assure the child's obedience. In other words, whatever you ask them to do, make sure they obey you and do it. Secondly, never leave a disciplinary job undone. Don't tell them you will deal with them later. Do it now, because one time later is too late. Some mothers might not want to discipline a child because of disobedience, because they are afraid the child might not like them if they demand obedience of the child. Parents, children do not grow to love those who are afraid to confront them. They come to despise them. Remember, it is far easier in the long run to deal with a tantrum-throwing 6-year-old than to deal with a stubborn 16-year-old. Exodus 20:12 says, "Honor your father and mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord has given you." Because we as parents demand obedience, they will love you. I think most of our youth today are crying out for someone to make them obey. And sometimes you don't make children to obey. I'm sorry, but every year I say the same thing. You don't make some children obey unless they feel something. And that's not child abuse. Because if that was child abuse, most of us would be 6 feet under. Child abuse kept and is still keeping us on the straight and narrow. So, if you are going to have obedience in the home and all of the laws must begin in the home. We are not our children's peer. We are not our children's friend. We are not our children equal. We are their parents. And if you are too short, stand on a chair. It is totally embarrassing to see mothers down at the courthouse, rowing sometimes, cussing, cursing, and crying and carrying on about what their child has done. Their good child, my good son. If your son was so good, you wouldn't be down there. If they had made sure that their good son had been obedient, they would not have a need to go to the courthouse. Tell me something. Have you ever seen God at Satan's courthouse carrying on and calling Satan names? No. Have you ever heard God say to Satan, "Why are you treating my good son the way you are treating him?" Genesis 2:17 says, God told Adam, "Do not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat of it, you will surely die." Genesis 3:17-19 says, Genesis 3:16 says, "To the woman, I will greatly increase your pains in childbirth. With pain you will give birth to children." 17-19 says, "And to Adam he says, because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree about which I told you, you must not eat of it, cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil you will eat of it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistle for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken, from dust you are, and dust you will return." And then God put them out. Some mothers need to do exactly that. He didn't say, "Later I will put you out." God put his children out of his house right away. Why? The consequence is, if you disobey, then you will be in the courthouse all by yourself. I will not embarrass myself by even going down there. Number 3, discipline. Discipline is instruction, correction, supervision, warning, admonition, rebuke, and infliction of punishment. Most times, discipline is painful. When it is painful, the child more than likely don't want to face those consequences again. Whatever form of discipline you promise to administer, you must follow through with it. Remember, God told Adam what would happen if he disobeyed. When Adam disobeyed God, God administered the punishment. Well, you mean she put her son out of the house? Well, God did. Mothers, we must follow the law to the fullest. Respect. Respect is to show honor, to show consideration, and to esteem. If you are taught in the home to respect your siblings and to especially respect other people's property, then you must do so. You must obey that law. If you see something and it does not belong to you, don't touch it. If you did not put it there, don't touch it. If you see something and you want it, especially if it doesn't belong to you, ask the person who it belonged to. And if they say no, then carry on smartly about your business. My parents always said to us that if you steal the little change in the home, you will steal the big bills outside of the home. We never stole money in the home because we did not want to go to jail. And, I think if we did that, they wouldn't be able to send us to jail. We would go straight to the undertaker. We always taught our children in our home that if they see something and you want it, ask for it first. Or if it's not yours, pass it by, like I said. Teach them to respect other people's property. When you respect other people's property and show respect for it, they will gladly let you have it. Okay? So you won't have to steal, and you won't have to go to jail, and your parents won't have to go down to the courthouse, make a fool of themselves. It's embarrassing for me. I don't know about you, but it's embarrassing for me to see children treated the way they are treated because of disobedience. Disobedience in children doesn't only bring punishment. It also brings punishment to the parents. And I think the parents and the children then need to be disciplined. Parents, in how you are to train your children, and children in how you are to honor and obey and respect your parents.
Thank you once again for listening to this message, as we hope that it has been a blessing to you. Our goal is to show you new paths and opportunities so that you can discover your purpose. It is your love, support, and partnership that makes Munroe Global possible. Please visit us online at www.monroeglobal.com for more product, partnership, or to join us at one of our live events around the world.